Hello and welcome back to Ask Alan About Low Carb Cocktails. This week we are going to have a cheat day. And by that I mean this is not low carb. Unfortunately, the ingredients that I couldn't find replacements for are relatively high in carbs, so we're considering this a cheat day. But I wanted to go over this anyway because it seemed like a kind of interesting idea. Join with me as we investigate how to do shots and cocktails that taste like candy. Hello and welcome back. This is Alan, and today is a cheat day. I had recently been watching a YouTube channel that actually is more of a TikTok channel, I believe. I think that the name of that, Bartender from TikTok, is what she calls her channel. And so I'll leave a link of that, and you can go and search that out. She does short videos. She had just done a series where she was actually writing scripts and playing all the parts, and that was kind of interesting. Don't know whether you'll like it or not, but it'd been coming up on my feed, so I watched a few of her skits and her videos, and one of them she did a shot that somebody had told her how to make, and so she made that, and she liked it, and so I thought I would try it. What that was a Good and Plenty. That is what the shot is supposed to taste like. So I had to go out and buy this because I don't even know if I've ever tried Good and Plenty, but I needed to have something to give a taste to get an idea before I could determine whether or not the different ones that I found were taste anything like it. Now, of course, the one that she had done, I've got that as the first one, and then I had searched the internet and found several actually cocktails or shots that are supposed to taste like Good and Plenty, and I tried them all. And unfortunately, they have a lot of carbs because, if I pronounce this right, Sambuca is something that is fairly high in carbs. So the thing that I thought it might taste like would be maybe absinthe or something. Doesn't really taste like that, but this is kind of a unique flavor, and I think that's what causes the Good and Plenty taste to work. Each of these have the Sambuca in it, or Sambuca, but one that I tried that I'm not going to keep here, I'm not going to show here, is it had absinthe instead and several other things, and it really didn't quite taste right for this. And there was another one that didn't quite taste like a Good and Plenty. They were okay, but not great, and didn't really level up to where I thought they should be in this video. So I'm going to show you how to make these, and if you don't care about carbs, go out and get some Sambuca and use that. I bought it a long time ago for some cocktails that it was in. It does have a fair amount of carbs. I think it's 11.3 carbs per ounce is what I had found when I kind of did some research. It's hard to find carbs on alcohols and to know that that's correct when you're online. So you have to kind of look and find more than one thing giving you the same information. And so this came out to about what I think it is, 11.3 carbs for an ounce, which is higher than you want. But if you're not going to have a lot of it, then as long as you know how many carbs you're getting, that's what you really need to know, especially if you're watching carbs. If you don't care about carbs, and many of you don't, and I do welcome anyone who just wants to know about cocktails and about the reviews that I do on different alcohols, to do these cocktails. Don't worry about the carbs if you don't need to. Many cocktails have a lot of carbs, and that's something that we try here to decrease as much as we can. But there are things where you just can't get the right taste if you don't use something that has the carbs in it. So, and through this video, there's one of them that also has amaretto. There are some amaretto low or no carb syrups. I don't have those. I just have Di Serono for the amaretto, And I found a video that I need to investigate a little bit, and maybe I'll do that here on the channel, of a way to make amaretto that is homemade. And if it's homemade, then you can substitute allulose or something that is no carb or low carb for the sweetener. And I want to do that at some point, but I never have yet. So we're going to use the Di Serrano in that one. So let's get started here. And again, the person's name, let me see if I wrote it down here. Michelle Kimball. And she's the one that has the YouTube channel that I found this first one on. And she can be entertaining. So if you want to check her out, do that. But we're going to do Good and Plenty. And we will do that today. Okay, so this first one is the one that Michelle had done on her video. And she just called it a Good and Plenty shot. And this will be done in a shot glass. But first it's put into a shaker to mix everything and cool it. So let's start this with 1 ounce of Sambuca. And this has a very black licorice odor to it and flavor. So we'll put that. And it also has some peach schnapps, and this peach schnapps is, I believe, about 3.6 carbs for this ½ ounce. And to give it a little bit of color and maybe a little bit of the taste, it's a little bit of cranberry juice, and she said a splash, so I'm thinking a splash is about 1/4 ounce, so we'll measure out 1/4 ounce so we get a known volume. And that 1/4 ounce of cranberry juice, this is a diet cranberry juice. It's got 3 grams per bottle, I believe, and the bottle is 10 ounces, so it's like 0.3 grams for an ounce, and so that's half of that, so 0.15 grams, so we won't even worry about that. That's pretty small. So what you do is you shake that to chill. And then strain that into a shot glass. And it may overflow the shot glass. I actually got some new shot glasses, which were just a slight bit bigger. Because when I tried this first with the ones that I had that were just 1 ounce, they overflowed. And that's to the top. And there's a little bit left in there. So let's try that, see what it tastes like. Definitely, you get that licoricey taste. And I did try a Good and Plenty to see what it tastes like. And I'll kind of give you the ending here. That one I think tastes the closest to the Good and Plenty, and it tastes really good. Of course, it's got sugar in it, but that's how we're starting out. So let's set this aside and use, I got a second shaker, so this is my original one, and the other one is the newer one, and that's Corico from Cocktail Kingdom, I think is the company name. They're supposed to be really, really good. So the one that I had before was pretty good. I think it was from a bar above. But anyway, so the second one, let's call that Good and Plenty Shot 2. And that one, I don't remember if this originally had 1 part, but I cut that back to 3/4 of an ounce of each of the Sambuca. And with 3/4 of an ounce, that's going to be about 8.3 carbs. And it has the amaretto. And Di Serrano is the brand that I'm using. 3/4 of an ounce of this has 17 carbs, I believe. I'll have to check that to make sure, but it's pretty high in carbs. So again, that's why this is a cheat day, because these are a lot of carbs. And same with this, you just shake that to chill. And then, slightly different shot glass, just to keep them straight. Strain that into a shot glass. Now this one does not taste as sweet as the other one. It's even though it's not probably more sugars, but the amaretto gives it a slightly different taste, and it does taste like kind of like the Good and Plenty. The first one, again, I think tastes spot on. And this one is also close and tastes pretty good. So the other two are actually cocktails. The two that I didn't do, I think one of them was a shot and one of them was a cocktail, and they didn't taste as good, but these two taste pretty good. Okay, so now for the two that are cocktails, one of them is supposed to be done in a coupe glass. The other one is supposed to be in a martini glass, but the one in a martini glass, I think that I'm going to do a half a recipe and just put it into another coupe glass. So what this first one is just call this a Good and Plenty cocktail. And it has 1 part, and we'll make that 1 ounce of Sambuca. Again, that's 11.3 carbs. And this uses Bailey's Irish Cream. And they do make a light version. And the light version for 1 part, which is 1 ounce, would be only 3.72 carbs. Again, if I found the right information, and it's not real easy to find that online. But this will make a little more creamy version. And a splash of soda water. Now, the splash of soda water, I think we'll put that in after we shake it. Well, let's kind of clean out our mixing. Use that as our splash. We'll just put that right in there. I don't think that that's going to make a big difference whether it's in before or after, and it doesn't really say in the recipe. So we'll shake that. And you can optionally put this strain this into a glass with ice, into a cocktail glass with ice, or just use a coupe glass, which is what I'm doing, without ice. And like I said, this is more of a creamy drink. We'll try that. Definitely, it does taste good. It does have a Good and Plenty taste to it. A little bit more creamy. They have white and red Good and Plenties, so I don't remember. I did try both of them, and I don't really know that there's a difference in taste. It's just some coloring in one versus the other. But that's what you get for that one. Now let's set that aside, and we'll do the final one. So this final one, and that's just called a Good and Plenty Martini. So again, we'll just go with half of this recipe. The whole recipe will be what's shown in the text above the, probably over here, but and in the description of the video, you'll see all of this information. So it's 1.5 ounce, so that's 3/4. And 1/2 ounce of vodka, so half of that is 1/4. And then 1/2 teaspoon. So since I'm doing half, it'll be 1/4 teaspoon of grenadine. And I make my own grenadine. And if you do that, then you can make it with artificial sweetener, but it'll still have the carbs from the juice, the pomegranate juice. And Greg on How to Drink was doing a recent episode where he talked about grenadine, and evidently grenadine originally was much different than the type that we use today. He had some recipes for that grenadine, and it'd be interesting to try those. Go and check out How to Drink. He does a pretty good job. He's actually a professional bartender, and I'm just doing this in my house. But anyway, so all of those, then you shake to chill and strain into a martini glass, or in this case, a coupe glass, because I'm only doing half of a recipe. And that was pretty tight. And if I'd have done a full recipe, that still would have only filled this cocktail or a coupe glass. So the garnish in that is to put a good and plenty. We're not going to do that, but just know that that's what you do with this if you want to have the full effect, is to add a good and plenty as a garnish. And that also tastes pretty good. It's got a little bit more of a bite, more of a, you can taste the taste of licorice more in this, because the vodka is just not going to cover it up at all. There's just a teeny bit of grenadine, mainly I think just to give it some color. So that is the 4 different good and plenty cocktails and drinks. So we got those 2. And 2 shots. And those all taste pretty close to what you get when you just eat a good and plenty. Again, as I said, this is a cheat day thing. You've got 4 different ones you can try. Each of them have various amounts of carbs in there, but none of them are carb-free or really low carb, because mostly the Sambuca and the amaretto is going to have carbs. And unless you have a substitute for Sambuca that has no carbs or has low carbs, or if you have if you do the amaretto, homemade amaretto and do it low carb, then that might help. But in general, this is cheat day stuff. You're not going to get anything from this that's going to be really low carb. But some days you just need to have a cheat day. And if you're not worried about carbs, then it's not cheating. You can have all of these and have no issue with it. But what I do want to ask is that you do let me know, put in some comments what you think about these, what you think about this video. Do you like this style of video? Do you like ones where I'm doing more reviews? Do you like the ones where somebody is dressing up as something else? Whatever, just let me know, and that helps me to know what things to do in the future. Also, I want you to provide likes and shares and all that stuff. Let your friends know get the word out for this, try to build the community. Uh, if you don't subscribe, then I don't have those numbers in there. And if you don't have the numbers, then YouTube won't push it out to other people. So I'm trying to get more people involved, more people to see these videos, because I do think that they're beneficial. Some people might like them, some people might not, but it's up to you. Just definitely, if you could, like and subscribe and share this and do all those great things, I'd be very grateful for that. And have your cheat day, have a good and plenty, and enjoy. Thank you, and come back next time.